Hello, guys. This is Miss Simmons. Happy Monday. How are you? Um, if you need to remember how I looked, you could just go and check out a picture of me and announcements. I'm still working on my camera, but we're going to get it going. Um, I'm really, really, really proud of the people who did really well on our FSA. Remember, guys, our mastery is 80% or higher. So those people who had 80% or higher on our Friday FSA were shouted out on the announcements. So congratulations on that. This week, guys, we are actually starting with a new objective. We're going to be going back to text structure. During the school year, guys, we only really talked about one type of text structure, which is chronological order. We're going to actually go back over that today, but this week we're actually going to be focusing on one type of text structure every day. So today is chronological order, and then the next days are going to be a different text structure. So you want to make sure that you are watching the videos every single day. You can't do the exit ticket without watching the videos, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. This is a time where if you have not completed your PDN, you want to go ahead and do that now. If you have completed your PDN already, then we can go ahead and get started. So, the directions state identify whether the phrase is a simile or metaphor. So, first, guys, that means you need to remember what a simile or metaphor is. Remember, a simile is when two things are being compared using the words like or as, and then a metaphor is when two things are being compared without using like or as. Okay, so let's get started. Number one, the students were as sweet as apple pie on the first day of school. So, since we use the words as, they're comparing the students to apple pie. This is a simile. Okay. Number two, Zoe and Aspen were like two peas in a pod. That means that they were best friends on a playground. They're using the word like. They're comparing Zoe and Aspen to two peas in a pod. So this is a simile. Number three, Mom was a bear when it came to cleaning my room. So they're comparing mom to a bear, but it looks like they're not using the words like or as, so this must be a metaphor. They're saying mom was a bear, which is meaning that she did not play when she told him to clean his room. Number four, the pirate had manners like a savage on the boat. Okay, meaning that the pirate did not really have any manners. And they're comparing the pirate to a savage and they're using the word like. So this is a simile. Okay. Number five, her room was a pigsty by Saturday morning. So they're comparing her room to a pigsty without using like or as. This is a metaphor. Okay. Number six, Jeffrey was as cool as ice while he was taking the test. They're comparing Jeff to ice and they're using as. And so we know that this is a simile. Okay. Actually, let's do that again. That was horrible. I gotta get back good with my little pen. Okay, number seven. The pile of laundry was as tall as a skyscraper. So they're comparing, that's probably how my laundry looks right now, guys, for real. They're comparing the laundry to a skyscraper using the word as. This is a simile. And then lastly, number eight, the trees were swaying like ships in a storm on the sea. They're comparing trees to ships using the word like. This is a simile. So hopefully everybody got a 100% on their PDN. If you did not, that's okay. But you have to make sure that you're continuously reviewing figurative language, which we're going to be doing in our PDNs, okay? All right. Now, guys, let's go ahead and get to our vocab work. So last week, guys, we focused on prefixes. This week, we are focusing on suffixes, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. A suffix is similar to a prefix. Instead, it is an affix that is placed at the end of another word. Remember, prefixes are placed at the beginning, suffixes are placed at the end. And then we know what root words are. A root word is a word that does not have either a prefix or a suffix added. Okay? Now, the root word in this case will come before the suffix. So home is going to be our root word. Okay? And then our suffix is, and I'm just going to put S for suffix, is less. Okay? Now we know that home means shelter, right? Because each word has a different meaning. And then less, guys, just like prefixes, suffixes have their own meaning. And less means without. When you put those two words together, home and less, it becomes the word homeless. And so it creates a different definition. And so homeless just simply means without shelter. Okay? Let's go ahead and write a sentence for it. You can either use my sentence or you can create your own sentence. The man was disappointed when he became homeless. Okay. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and think of some synonyms and antonyms for the word homeless. Synonyms means that words that are the same, that mean the same thing, okay? I'm thinking of, I heard somebody say poor. That's really good. Let's go back. I'm also thinking of needy, right? Because you're in need of a home, right? And so the opposite of poor would, of course, be rich or wealthy. Okay. All right, good. So let's go ahead and go on. Remember, guys, if I'm moving too fast, you can always pause and then you can pick up where you left off. So let's look at the picture. I think we had seen this picture before when we were talking about poverty. So poverty and homeless are very similar. So when you look at the picture, look at everything that's going on, right? You see that the man is outside. He has a blanket. He has on layers of clothing. He has his dog. He has like a bag where it looks like he's asking for money. And then he has a poster seeking human kindness. So he's, asking people for things. So we can tell that the man is actually homeless, right? So let's go ahead and write that in our box. So the man is homeless because it looks as if he is sleeping outside and is in need of a home, right? Because homeless is you don't have a home, right? So it looks like he's sleeping outside and is in need of a home. Okay, guys, good. We're actually moving at a really good pace. Now we're moving on to our board equals paper. We all know this, guys. This is pretty much like a review. We know that text structure is the way a text is organized. Okay, we've gone over this so many times. Today we are studying. Now, guys, a separate, we know chronological order is order of events, but it has so many words, so many different names, right? So it could either be chronological order or it could also be sequential order. Those actually mean the same thing. So today we're studying sequential or chronological order. Okay, this is when events are told in order and how they happen. Okay, of how they happen. And so you guys know, whenever we have text structure, we always look for certain keywords that's in the text that's going to help us figure out what that text structure is. And so in sequential and chronological order, you have keywords like dates. We know that, right? You have months of the year. You have times. You also have transition words, right? Like first, next, then, finally. All of these things are going to be going in order. And then I put a really cool picture here just to help you visualize what sequential and chronological order is. It's kind of like making a burger, right? You first put your bun, your half of the bun, you put your meat, you put your cheese, you put all the condiments that you like, your pickles, your lettuce, your tomatoes, and then finally you put the last bun on top. All of this is sequential order because one thing can't go before. Like you're not going to put your tomatoes before your meat, right? Some people do, but that's kind of weird. So when you think of sequential or chronological order, I want you to remember the hamburger in your mind, okay? So guys, today we're actually going to be doing model and guided practice together since our lesson is so long. The model and the guided practice is going to be together, and then the independent practice is going to be on your own, okay? So the text that we're going to be reading is called Treating the Red Fox, okay? And this, we're going to be reading the text first, and we're going to be looking to see the keywords first. Like what keywords do we see that are sticking out that lets us know that this is chronological order? We already know that this is a chronological order text, but we're just going to be looking for the keywords, and then we're also going to look for the gist. Who remembers what the gist is? I hope you guys remember the who, the what, and the where. Good, excellent. And we know that gist is also known as the main idea. When we are done, we're going to fill out this graphic organizer for sequential or chronological order. When we look at this, this is called a timeline, okay? Timelines have events in order. So when you look at the lines, this will go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then finally sixth, okay? And then we have 2 questions that we're going to be answering in the end. So let's go ahead and begin and follow along together. Okay, while we're reading, remember guys that we have to mark up our text. Now it's not going to be as easy to write a gist for each paragraph, but you can use a separate sheet of paper and you can write a gist for each paragraph. Okay, so let's begin. It says I first. So immediately right off the bat, I see a keyword, which is first, and I'm going to underline that. I first spotted the red fox on a June morning. Okay, so June morning is actually, I have to get back good with my pen. June morning is actually a another keyword because it is like a date or a month, right? It was beside the tool shed trembling. I approached the animal cautiously and saw its left hind leg was injured. I went inside my cabin and got my medical bag. Then, okay, then, here's then. That's my other keyword, right? Because I know that something else is happening. Then, with caution, I returned to the fox. Next, here's another keyword. I gently lifted its injured leg and decided to attach a splint. The fox settled back and let me proceed with my work. On my porch, I set up a wooden box padded with pillows so the fox could heal. Beside the box, I placed bowls of food and water that refilled daily. One morning in July, so now guys, I see that time is actually passing by because at first the story started out in June and now it's July. I stepped out on the porch and saw that the red fox was gone. I checked the porch each day after, but the fox was nowhere to be found. So guys, the video is probably actually going to cut off, and when it cuts off, you could just select video 2 and keep on moving. Late on August afternoon. Okay, so the story is moving along. I spied the red fox coming up the path to my cabin. A short distance behind, a silver fox was limping along. I watched as the animals approached the tool shed. The silver fox was fearful, but the red fox apparently resolved the issue by assuring it that the area was safe. The red fox observed its friend for a few moments and then returned to the dense woods. As I had once before,